There's a lot of new and exciting God of War Ragnarok information that's been officially released recently, so by the end of this video you'll know exactly what's going on with this game and what to expect before it launches on November the 9th. But let's first start with some new storyline info, as Cory Barlog, creative director of the 2018 game and producer of this new installment, has officially confirmed in a recent Game Informer interview that God of War Ragnarok will be concluding Kratos and Atreus' story as the dynamic duo. So whatever game comes after this one, it won't be including these two gallivanting around the Norse realms. And speaking of those different worlds, Eric Williams, the game director, went on to say that this sequel is actually a new beginning and not the end, but this immediate story that we as players will experience is all about the fate of the 9 realms, where we can visit all 9 of them comparatively to just 5 in the first game. Now, Eric is directly referencing the game's namesake here in this interview, that being Ragnarok, which in Scandinavian Norse mythology, if you weren't aware, is a series of events that lead up to the legendary final battle or end of all realms, which culminates in the death of a great number of prominent figures, including Odin, Thor, Tyr and Loki, all of which who will be appearing in this game, of course, and which I actually think is prophesized in this mural in the recent trailer with Atreus, otherwise known as Loki, leading the charge here. Now, the official line from the studio is that this Ragnarok catastrophe is imminent, so we won't be waiting around the whole game to see it, as far as I'm aware. That's my interpretation anyway, as it has been 3 years since Kratos killed Balder, which in Norse prophecy heralded the initiation of events leading to Ragnarok, and since then, Fimbulwinter has set in, which I'll let Mimir swiftly explain now.
Not just any winter, but a great winter to span 3 summers. And when it's done, Ragnarok begins.
So this is why you're seeing a shed ton of snow in all of these thematic trailers and reveals over the last 12 months, because of Kratos and Atreus' direct actions in the last game being the cause of Fimbulwinter and the subsequent eve of Ragnarok in this game. That said, Eric did clarify that not every realm is affected by snow, just as a heads up by the way, but as Midgard is the cataclysmic epicenter, that's why it's afflicted with this permafrost and why other realms aren't as visually affected. Additionally, Eric did recently provide us with a little bit more insight by saying that Atreus really wants his father to help him stop Ragnarok, as well as assist him in understanding what role he must play in this looming crescendo. But Kratos himself is quite reluctant to do so, as he's worried that the more that they interfere, the more cause Odin and Asgard have to go to war with them. Now, I don't think Kratos needs to worry about that, to be honest with you, as PlayStation have confirmed on their website that Asgardian forces are already preparing for war as we start this new game, and we can already see the Einherjar warriors in the recent gameplay reveal, who in Norse mythology were brave combatants that had gone to die in battle with honor, and because of their bravery, instead of drifting off to the realm of Niflheim, the realm of undead, they were recruited by Odin's Valkyries to fight beside him in Ragnarok. So these cowboys are already swanning around in this game across all of the 9 realms and not feasting in Odin's great hall. So it's pretty much game on, and that's what I take it as anyway, but more on new enemies and game mechanics shortly, because as Eric stated in the recent Game Informer interview, if you like the storyline and depth of Balder, then you're going to enjoy Thor and Freya, who have been officially confirmed as the 2 primary antagonists in this game, with Odin taking an almost secondary but shadow primary role. But as Ralph Grassetti, the art director of Ragnarok, said on Twitter recently, we haven't seen anything yet, which sounds very exciting. But let's talk about more what we have seen as of yet, because according to an IGN insider preview, everything we've seen so far in terms of gameplay and footage is only the first 5 hours of the game itself, with Jonathan Burke, engineering director of God of War, also going on to drop a few teasers on Twitter by saying they have barely scratched the surface in regard to the stuff that's been shown so far. So this begs the question, how big will this game be? Well, PlayStation Game Size on Twitter recently posted an update about this, noting the game to be a big boy 90.5 gigabytes in size, which has actually been added to the PlayStation Network by Sony themselves. And just to put that in perspective, the 2018 game was 35 to 45 gigabytes on the PlayStation and PC, so half the size of this new game. Incidentally, the storyline playtime length was around 25 to 35 hours, depending upon your own playstyle and depending upon if you did all of the extra content. So even with the extra gigabyte weight attributed to this next gen upgrade, I'd expect several dozen hours more of storyline based content here, just based on this PS4 game size. Now, on top of that, Santa Monica Studios has confirmed that Ragnarok will be coming with a lot of new accessibility features, which will allow us to customize our experience to our own liking. We'll have such features as being able to auto sprint down long muddy roads, to then being able to apply very noticeable direction indicators for combat sequences, as well as high contrast color modes, allowing us to apply specific colors access to certain item types and characters, which will all contribute to a better experience for us, depending upon how we like to play. Now, just like the previous game, there will be a lot of puzzles in this new Ragnarok game, but if you've always struggled with them or you just want to breeze past them faster, you will be able to do so, as you can crank up the audio cues and skill shot button prompts on screen to make it easier to complete. Or you can actually just extend the time period of puzzles generally to give you a longer window of completion, so you don't have to repeat it if you run out of time or you missed your axe throw. Now, Miller Pavlin, the lead UX designer at Santa Monica, said that they wanted to incorporate a healthy balance between the game's intensity and enabling players to be able to overcome challenges, which basically means that they don't want people to destroy their controllers in frustration if you can't get past a specific obstacle or challenge, which is decent in my opinion, because there's an option there to make it easier if you want to do it, but it's going to be full-blown hardcore mode for me, and if a controller dies, it dies. Now, as this game is a PlayStation exclusive, you'd expect the controller to be pretty pimped out in terms of sensory upgrades, and you'd be absolutely right. We can map several in-game actions to our PS5 DualSense controllers, such as a swiping up feature that immediately points the camera towards the objective if we have absolutely no idea where we're going, or if we've just got lost. And alternatively, we can use it as a quick fire button for Spartan Rage, so expect your controller to have all the bells and whistles in this next-gen game. And if you are enjoying the video so far, please do leave a very swift like down below. It really helps me out on YouTube, so thank you very much. Now let's talk about map exploration and go over a few secrets hidden away in some new announcements, because as I briefly mentioned earlier, Eric has recently confirmed we'll be able to visit all 9 realms, which is exciting stuff. That means we'll be able to explore the 3 previously unreachable realms this time round, those being Asgard, Vanaheim and Svartalfheim, with Eric also stating that even the realms you've seen before will also feel brand new. And let's talk about the home of the dwarves first, though, that being Svartalfheim, as Santa Monica gave us quite the insight in what to expect. James Riding, the lead level designer, told Game Informer that they wanted to evolve the gameplay in level spaces with more variety vertically, and in Svartalfheim there's just so much content that you'll have so many places to go all within one realm, and that certainly seems to be the case, as we can see a lot of vertical gameplay showcased already, which I'll be breaking down next. But as John Hickenbottom, level designer at Santa Monica Studios, also went on to say, we wanted to show off the dwarves specifically and what they've been doing in Svartalfheim. It's a maze-based biome where the dwarves have created huge environments to explore, and with this huge realm above and below ground, I think this is where we may encounter Tyr, who was imprisoned by Odin and believed to be dead throughout the 9 realms. During this specific clip of the storyline trailer, I think this building or workshop is the new home base, which is located in Svartalfheim itself, as the window design also appears in the initial reveal trailer back in 2021, which would make sense as Sindri and Brock are both dwarfs and want to stay close to home. That said, I think this is where we will find Tyr early in the game, in the mines of Svartalfheim specifically, as they're clearly identified on the collector's edition cloth map, as well as the thematic footage matching up with what we've seen so far of the realm itself. Incidentally, before we break down the door and release Tyr, Kratos is fighting those Einherjar warriors that we discussed earlier, and why else would they be in Svartalfheim unless they were guarding an important asset such as Tyr on the orders of Odin? Just an enthusiastic theory there. I'm sure we'll find out soon enough where he is for sure. But that said, apart from the 9 realms, we'll also be visiting another in-between location, which is what I think is Gununganap, otherwise known as the Primordial Void in Norse mythology, which is where the worlds themselves were created. Apologies for the pronunciation there. I'm just going to run with it and just hope that was right. But this location has been included again on the cloth map and seems to bind together the 2 realms of Niflheim and Muspelheim, both of which we've seen showcased so far. And as for the reasons why we're fighting Odin's Valkyrie in this Netherrealm, I'm honestly not so sure, but I think time travel will most certainly play a part here. Now, as for traversal, we've already discussed verticality playing a prominent role in this game, but we'll also be able to sledge around Fimbulwinter on a sled pulled by Specky and Svanna, paddle down serpentine streams and open waters, as well as a mention on page 43 of the Game Informer recent article stating that traversing optional territories will be a tough task without a stronger crew, which leads me to believe we may be able to hire or pick party members to help us in certain areas. I couldn't say for sure that's what the studio means there, but that is a very interesting choice of words from Santa Monica regardless, and it's worth pondering over, I think. Now let's talk about new gear, weapons and enemies that we'll be up against, and I want to bring your attention to this new shield mechanic first, as they will be playing a prominent role within this overarching combat umbrella per se. Eric Williams, the game director, stated in an interview to The Gamer that combat in Ragnarok will emphasize a greater importance on shields and its defensive abilities for the overall combat gameplay experience, with each shield having different defensive options and abilities. And we can clearly see that in action here, with the new Dauntless shield being designed for those of you who like the idea of Twitch style reaction gameplay, which is parrying at just the last possible moment to counter the enemy off balance, and when you succeed in doing that enough, the shield glows red, which signals to you that you can unleash a devastating smash that throws back enemies and stuns them, as you can see in action here. We also have the Stonewall shield option, which is designed for tank lovers that prefer a slower, more methodical fighting style. Kratos can't parry when we've got this specific shield equipped, meaning we'll need to actually block attacks to survive, and the benefit of actually getting this mechanic down to a T is the more hits the Stonewall shield takes, the more kinetic energy it absorbs, and once it's fully charged, we'll be able to smash the shield into the ground, which will release an instantaneous pulse, knocking everyone in the vicinity off their feet, which I think is pretty cool looking, to be honest with you. Now, Danny Ye, one of the game designers at Santa Monica, did say that these new shield mechanics are powerful, but don't bite off more than you can chew, as there's a few enemies that will be able to eat you pretty easily if you do get it wrong. Now, shields aside, the Leviathan Axe, Blades of Chaos, and Guardian Shield, of course, all do return here in this Ragnarok game, which will include a lot of new abilities for Kratos and Atreus, which I'm going to break down for you in just a moment, because let's power through some new enemies we'll be up against here, as Danny also went on to say further that we as players will be picking up a comparable sense of gratification for beating some of Ragnarok's most formidable side content, which sounds very solid in my opinion, and we've got quite the selection here, from Asgardian soldiers to wyverns, stalkers, grims, and valkyries found throughout the 9 realms. There's also these flame phantoms, which are a new enemy design that possesses a rune that we'll need to hit to get the upper hand on. Perhaps we'll actually pick up the rune itself after defeating them individually, that remains to be seen. We also have the Hell Walkers in Helheim, thanks to the audio cue from the trailer, which is a very fitting design for the realm that they reside in my opinion, as well as this brand new massive creature that resembles some sort of elephantine-sized rhino. He's an absolute beast, and we don't have any further details on it yet, apart from the very clear yellow markings on its body, which is quite similar to the flame phantoms and their runes, so I imagine we'll need to hit them to successfully bring down its defenses. Now, in this scene though, we can see Atreus fighting a Dreki alongside Kratos, which reminds me of the original 2018 reveal trailer where Atreus accidentally hits Kratos with his arrows, so some subtle character development here as he hits his mark this time, and I think that's great to see. Final enemy worth mentioning though is the return of the Dark and Light Elves within their realm respectively, but it looks to me we'll need to time our shield break ability correctly to spin them around and smash their light source on their back for a successful kill. Looks fun, and I can't wait to get stuck in to try it. Now let's get stuck into some combat details, as Mihir Seth, the lead combat designer of Ragnarok, summed it up quite nicely by saying, "We've tried to create systems that you want to engage with that are fun, playful, and have different routes for you to take." That said, the combat has been confirmed to be following the same basic mechanics from the 2018 game, where we'll be delivering a flurry of combos via the shield, blades, axe, or barehanded, while Atreus supports us in battle with his new runic summoning spell that, according to Sony, is actually in the form of a ram. And in the recent reveal trailer, we can see Atreus using his bow as a melee weapon as well, where it glows red and he uses it to slam into the enemy, perhaps some sort of variation of Spartan Rage for himself here. On top of that, Game Informer recently showed us some combat footage where Atreus and Kratos can be seen to be obtaining XP separately, so I reckon we'll be able to spend XP points on skills pertinent to each character in this game, where they're not combined into kind of one large XP spending pool where Atreus' skill tree is completely ignored in preference of Kratos's, like many, including myself, did in the 2018 game. But speaking of skills, there's this new mechanic called signature moves that are integrated into the triangle button. In the last game, if you actually press triangle, you would recall your axe, but if you already had the axe equipped, nothing happened at all. So this button now allows Kratos to infuse the axe with either ice or fire to do additional elemental damage to enemies, which are actually called Frost Awaken, which freezes the enemies, and Whiplash, which incinerates them. And it's just one example of how Santa Monica are trying to maximize every avenue that is open for development here, or so they say. Not only that, but they seem to have brought back the grapple hook from God of War 2, 3, and and Ascension, where you're able to swing across locations and then transition into an attacking aerial maneuver, maintaining that momentum and movement fluidity whilst in combat. In fact, Eric Williams said that God of War Ragnarok will bring back the greatest hits of things that they didn't get to do in the previous games. So I've got a feeling we'll be seeing some more animations that will be recognizable to long-term fans. Now, there's a lot of new secrets that Santa Monica have also snuck into their collector's edition and trailers. So if you want to know 10 really awesome ones, click the video on your screen right now and I'll see you there in just a second. And if you're still watching though, my big thanks to those of you who are in the Reloads Club and support me on YouTube membership and helping me getting closer to making content full time for you. And my further thanks to Nika, Kev and Dennis for helping me make this video. Great job team. Coffee is definitely on me.